Last time on Sealed Only Sunday.
The thing is, both the Math Mechs and now the Rockets are very good at flooding the board and getting a level 8 synchro onto the board. Unfortunately, we don't have any synchros. Well, would you look at that? A consumable item. We've actually finished a level criteria as well, because we did, in fact, achieve a 3-win streak thanks to winning against Coda. Greetings, people, and welcome back to Sealed Only Sunday, where last week, well, we kind of just regained control of our deck direction, I suppose. Now being able to shuffle packs at the shop, it means an incredible amount going forward, because we are finally in control of, well, some things. We still can't choose packs necessarily, but being able to shuffle the ones we don't want away is actually really handy. And in addition to that, we upgraded the coffee shop, meaning we now earn a little bit more money every week, hoping that will matter in the long run. Remember, we really want to get to that level 2, because the rewards are big, and we have an increased budget afterwards. And to do that, we still need to beat a challenge, which is unfortunate, because last week's challenge was really easy, and somehow we still did not manage to do it. Despite that, however, I actually liked where the deck was going. I mean, yeah, Dragon Maids are kind of weird for our deck currently, because we're now playing, you know, machine dragon-made dragons. Dragon. But other than that, they actually put in a surprising amount of work just being able to normal summon Kitchen to search anything to tag out into and getting a 2700 monster out of nowhere. Not only that, but Kitchen's able to go into Striker Dragon very easily. It's really good! Like, I have never played Dragon Link, I will say this. I've never touched the deck, but that combo looks to be pretty freaking good to me. Regardless of that, this week in the shop, we are still looking for a better synchro package. Geomath Big Magma is cool. Let's not beat around the bush here, it's cool. But if we are to use Rocket Tracer's effect, it needs to be a dark synchro because it locks us into dark. Without that, we're kinda screwed. So let's hope for the best. First of all, of course, we are going to add the weekly budget, so we're slapping on another 2,500, but this week we're also adding an additional 250 thanks to the coffee shop upgrade. Make that 2,750, please. Right, with that out of the way, let's head to the shop and pray that there's something good in there today. Wait, what the hell? I have several questions. So this is what the Pact can do. Create random floating access code talkers in my room. Well, it took them up until episode 7 to do it, but it appears that our patrons have finally decided to use their pledge rewards. For the first time ever, we have a patron who's chosen to create a Phantom card for us. Phantom cards are cards that we can use for a single episode, and J-Chip has been kind enough to grant us Access Code Talker, a really good Link 4 and a boss monster in a bunch of decks. Maybe it'll be enough to push us over the edge this week? Who knows? Regardless, if you too would like to have the chance to directly influence the show, there's a Patreon link down below and YouTube membership with a button next to subscribe, which you should also press. Right, this time, for real, let's go to the shop.
Hey there, Wolfie. There's something new on the shelf today, as you can probably see. One of your patrons used their pledge to put another pack onto the shop for you. At a discount, no less. Huge thanks to Zuikaku for supporting the show.
Well, color me surprised. It did take until episode 7, but now we're here with 2 patron pledges in the same episode. One of them being a Phantom card, and one of them a Pact pack. And the Pact pack is Dark Savior. Zooey, are you trying to tempt me into playing Sky Strikers or something? It really feels like you're trying here. I know who you are. I'll come after you. Regardless of that, the shop today is looking, well stacked in one certain direction, let's say. The first 4 sets in the actual shop today are rather bad, for all intents and purposes here. But in the promotional products, we're looking at Savage Strike Special Edition. Oh boy. The main issue with this is the fact that it's the special edition, meaning that it's more expensive thanks to the promos. The special edition has 3 packs, of course, but 6 packs of Savage Strike is nearly nothing for our entire budget, and that would hurt. Then again, getting Borreload Savage Dragon or even Time Thief Winder could be one of the best plays we can go for. I think, however, I am going to tempt myself to re-roll once, and I'll shuffle away Battles of Legend and Breakers of Shadow. Go ahead, Todd. Shuffle them out of here. Hi, Editing Wolf here, and before you start berating me in the comments saying this was rigged, here you go. This is the actual spin that I did for the reroll, and I was laughing just as hard as I did here when it actually happened. Well, I suppose the choice is now much easier, isn't it? Savage Strike has been re-rolled onto the booster pack board, and it is a lot cheaper going for the raw booster packs than it is going for the special edition. The special edition does have 2 promos, but both of them are useless to us, meaning we can now afford a bunch of additional packs of Savage Strike, and we're going to do just that. I'm not even going to attempt the pack this time. I am sorry, Sui. Dark Saviors has nothing on this. We're going in for 12 packs of Savage Strike. This is freaking unbelievable, but I am excited. We have no upgrading to do today, so let's just head on over and open our packs. Alright, I am super excited to be opening Savage Strike. This set is amazing, and we have 12 packs to get through, so let's just go. Pack number 1, we got Guardragon Garmidier's, Performapal Claybreaker, Shiranui's Sword Saga, Some 6 Samurai, Squirt Squid, Time Thief Basil Ship, Cyber's Integrator, Fusion of Fire, and Final Light as an Ultra. That's not the Ultra I want to be seeing from this set. Right, pack number 2, Time Thief Flyback, Lost Time, Guard Dragon Core Awakening, me! 6 Samurai, Time Thief Regulator, Salamangreat Paro, Fusion of Fire, and Guard Dragon Banned. Oof, pulling an LP now is just depressing. That sucks. Alright. Next pack, Cyber's Integrator, Cataclysmic Scorching Whatever, Summon Over, Salamangreat Paro, Cyber's Wicked, Shiranui Swordmaster, Unisong Tuning, Salamangreat Violet Chimera, and whoa, we got a secret! Dragon Phantasme! We got a Phantasme! That's actually a good card! Holy shit, we got a good card! Okay, that's awesome. I think this is the first secret we've pulled in like forever. Right, pack 4, let's go. Red Rising Dragon, Cyber's Integrator, Subterra Guru, Guard Dragon Justica, Orcus Nightmare, Time Thief Basil Ship, Time Thief Winder, Hita the Fire Charmer Ablaze, and next. That's less good. Let's go for pack number 5 here. Subterra Succession, TG Tank Grub, Salamangreat Paro, Shiranui Squire Saga, and Sword Saga, Shiranui Swordmaster, Incantation Inception, World Legacy World Arc, and Danger Ogopogo. Unfortunately, that's one of the bad dangers, but I think we could play Ogopogo anyway, just because having a danger is kind of nice. Pack number 6, Orchestrated Release, Edge of the Ring, Cyber's Wicked, Catch IL2, Lost Time, Subterra Succession, whatever the thing that is, Guard Dragon Shield, and TG Star Guardian, an Ultra Synchro and not the Ultra Synchro we wanted. Right, let's look at the next pack. Performapal Claybreaker, Shiranui Style Success, Psychic Tracker, Extra Ceratops, Catch IL2, Orcus Nightmare, Lost Time, Trickstar Fusion, and Valkyrie Vierte. Yikes. Pack number 8, Subterra Guru, Subverse Whatever Converter, Paro, Psychic Tracker, Red Rising Dragon, I can't pronounce whatever that is, TG Booster Raptor, Guard Dragon Shield, and Fateful Hour. Ugh. Only a couple of packs left to go here, but we did pull a secret. Shiranui Style Solemnity, Summon Over, Time Thief Redoer, thank you, Salamangreat Paro, Cyber's Converter, Child's Play, Performapal Claybreaker, Apple of Enlightenment, and Guard Dragon Pisty, the last standing Guard Dragon. That's amazing, actually. Okay, pack number 10 here. Orcus Nightmare, Cataclysmic Scorching Whatever, Red Rising Dragon, Time Thief Basil Ship, Neo Space Connector, Time Thief Winder, Guard Dragon Cataclysm, and Fateful Hour. Ooh, I'm still lurking over that Phantasme. That is great. Alright, next up, we got Red Rising Dragon, Aloof Lupine, Volvi, Update Jammers, Incantation Whatever, Slashy Boy, Paro, Lapis Dragon, and holy crap, Pot of Extravagance! Let's go! I can't believe it, our openings recently have been so bad, and now we're looking at 2 useful secrets. Holy shit, this episode's stupid! Alright, pack number 12. If we get Borreload out of this, I'm fucking done. Cyber's Converter, Orchestrated Release, Prank Kids Roxy's, Guard Dragon Justica, Performapal Claybreaker, Catch Eye L2, Cataclysmic Scorching Whatever, TG Screw Scarpent, and... Okay, I'm done. What the fuck is happening today? Seriously! What is this opening? This is better than anything I opened in Season 1, and Season 1 was cracked! I'm done. I'm out. That's it. We're going to get a challenge. I'm taking a nap.
Greetings, Wolfie. I hope you found the funds useful.
If you keep upgrading our store, there will be more of it.
We've got some fun challenges on the board today.
Good luck and have fun.
Right. You know what? Your funds were actually tremendous this week because they pushed us into making massive improvements for the deck. However, I'm looking at the challenges today, and I'm honest, I love them. These are probably the best ones we've had so far. This deck has no pathetic cards, is definitely doable in our deck, let's be honest. We draw bricks literally all the time. Joey is equally as funny because we do have cards we can draw that simply end the game on the spot. And the Stone Age is by far the simplest one of the challenges, but probably the easiest one for us to perform. However, for this week, just because it's too good to skip, we actually have a reward of a level 2 super rare wild card. And remember, I'm not the one picking these, despite me being the editor of the videos. I don't. These are all on the viewers. This deck has no pathetic cards, has the chance to turn our deck massively, and let's be honest, we draw bricks a lot. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for this deck has no pathetic cards for this week, and I'll see you all in deck building, where we have a lot of things to do. You know, there's been a lot of episodes where we've had barely any changes to what we're doing whatsoever, and then once in a while, an episode like this pops up. With the new pulls of today, especially Borreload Savage Dragon, I think it's determined what direction we need to take the deck for the time being. While Dragon Link has had most of their good cards banned in the last banlet, such as Elpie, and, you know, limiting Striker Dragon to 1, which was unfortunate, it is the best route that we have given our pool of cards currently. It also happens to clash a lot with machines, meaning we could potentially get the core for both of them if we're lucky enough. With that in mind, though, we're officially trying to swap over to Dragon Link for the time being. Simply because Dragon Link has a really good combo game and should allow us to push through a lot of the things that we normally have issues with. Borreload Savage Dragon has become our best synchro target by far, simply because it not only gives us a negate, but becomes a big booty on the board. We do still kind of have issues summoning it, considering we only have one of each rocket, but it's better than nothing. I mean, it's still something. Pot of Extravagance is also a risky play here because we do not necessarily want to banish our extra deck at all. But since we don't really have anything else to use right now in terms of drawing cards, I think we'll have to go for it anyway. We still have a lot of trash cards in there, so banishing a few of those, even randomly, probably won't hurt. In addition to that, of course, we do have the Phantom card today of Access Code Talker, which acts as a secondary finisher for us due to the fact that we really don't link climb that well. Like, Citadel is still a good card, don't get me wrong, but Access Code Talker could push through things we normally would stand no chance against, even if it might only get to pop a single card, thanks to the fact, well, again, we don't link climb that well. I honestly have very high hopes for today, considering just how big of a boost we got today and the cards that we got. Oh, let's not forget Phantasme either. Phantasme is great. Right. No more thinking. Just combo. Return to Monkey Combo. That's actually a really good name for this deck. Return to Monkey Combo. Let's stick with that. Let's head over to the Lupine Weekly and see exactly what this disaster can give us. Right, so we're back in action with game number 1 against End of Battle Phase, playing our mortal enemy, Drytron. He is playing the Megalith version of Drytron, however, which I don't think I've seen in a very long time. You should all know the Drytron combos by now. Zeta gets him the Mega whatever. The Alpha gets him a Ritual. Ben 10's already engraved. Mo Beta Fafnir is going to hit the board, pitching Gamma. Gamma's going to activate for some reason. Fafnir is going to be activated to bring the Drytron Nova to hand, activating the Nova for a Delta, this time activating to get out the Herald of Ultimateness and Megalith Paul. Interesting. Well, Megalith Paul recycles the Ben 10 to hand as he goes into an IP Masquerena and a Linkaribo and passes turn to us. Our hand's not great. We'll Pot of Extravagance for 3 here, unfortunately being hit with the negate off of Herald of Perfection, as well as banishing our Striker Dragon, which is not what I wanted. We attempt to activate our Imperial Order in chain to his Drytron Nova, which he attempts to negate, but we fling in the Solemn Strike here. But it doesn't end up mattering too much as, well, Drytron is Drytron. He manages to get out an end board that is quite powerful regardless here. He does attempt to make another ritual with Imperial Order up, which was funny, I suppose, but it doesn't end up mattering too much. In comes Herald of the Orange, whatever it is, destroying our Kitchen Dragon Maid, punching us in the face for a decent chunk of damage, and unless we pull something great off the top, we're just gonna lose. Imperial Order is paid, and we draw Machina Citadel, which doesn't do much, so we'll normal summon our Rocket Tracer. We'll bring out our Absolute Dragon, activating Rocket Tracer, blowing up the Imperial Order for another 4 to make our Time Thief Redoer, because, let's be honest, it's just funny at this point. Redoer's going to punch in the Linkaribo, which unfortunately kills the Linkaribo. I'm putting it to 0, of course. Gamma is going to be activated the first thing on his turn, and as you can probably guess at this point, we don't really have a lot that we can do against a Drytron board. We have a grand total of 0 outs to a Drytron board, actually. As you can probably expect at this point, the man is just going to climb out like crazy, going into Cerberus for some odd reason, bringing back the Ben 10, and we'll just scoop them up and go game 2. Game number 2, however, we are opting to go first, of course, because there's no way we're being able to beat that. We only get an Air Raider and a set card, however, which just isn't good enough. However, End of Battle Phase actually ends up bricking super hard, setting 1 and passing back to us, which is really weird. We activate Boot Sector Launch because we find it funny, bringing out the Rocket Syndrome, going into Striker Dragon, breaking Striker Dragon just to get the Rocket Synchron back so we have a link in our graveyard, I guess. We punch in for 1500, and a Battle Phase draws a card, and passes turn. End of Battle Phase has just completed our challenge for this week, if he was competing in the same way we were. We do bring out the Citadel and Fortress here, normal summoning the Silver Rocket Dragon, which is going to be enough to just take the game, as Battle Phase doesn't play a single card. Yikes. Game number 3, and our starting hand is about as beautiful as it can ever be. Bottomless, Strike, Jizukiru. I have no clue how the hell we're going to do anything with this. Thuban is, of course, going to get summoned. Fafnir's going to get activated, which brings Nova to hand. Nova is going to be used to get a Zeta onto the board. They are going to be overlaid for a Mu Fafnir, which is going to pitch the Delta. Delta is going to come up by pitching Ben 10 from hand, allowing him to draw another card, then activating Ben 10 for an Eva. At this point, it's going to be linked off our Linkaribo as he passes turn, and this could be a great way for us to actually come back into the game if our hand wasn't complete shit. We go for Jizukiruing the Linkaribo here, going for the Striker Dragon, which brings back Boot Sector Launch, of course, activating Boot Sector Launch, which gets hit with a Herald of the Green Light. I can't believe someone's using that card at this point, but it is whatever, as our Striker Dragon beats over the Mu Beta Fafnir, and we crash both of our Jizukirus, now with an empty hand with a Strike and 2 Bottomless set. It's not looking great, exactly. Cyber Emergency is going to come down, which is going to start the combo all over again as he attempts to activate Alpha Thuban, which we hit with a Solemn Strike. Zeta is going to come out to bring out the Meteonis Drytron at this point, going into the Gamma bringing back Mubeta Fafnir, that we decide to Bottomless. He's then going to activate Meteonis to bring back the Ben 10, which we also hit with the Bottomless. He sets a card and passes turn back to us, and we draw a potential game ender. We normal summon the Gear Frame, but Gear Frame gets hit with an Impermanence, meaning we can't try and end the game here, which is super unfortunate. Passing the turn back to end of battle phase, and you know what Drytron does best? Recycle resources. Alpha Thuban is going to come in, pitching the, another Gamma, I believe, just to get the Herald of Perfection to hand, and the loop continues. At this point, the card advantage is going to be way more than we can handle as he just extends and extends, and we have literally no response to such extension. Borreload Dragon is going to come out as a normal summons Herald of the Orange Light just to get a second attack, punching over our Gear Frame, then punching over our Striker Dragon, leaving us at 600 life points, and the top deck, not good enough. Game number 2 is at least a funnier one, as we're playing Behold the Fallout, who's playing Skull Servants. I love these. We activate Pot of Extravagance, banishing 6 with no fear whatsoever as we go into our Gear Frame, getting ourselves another Fortress, which allows us to bring 2 Fortresses onto the board, protecting one of them with 2 set. It's looking pretty good. Also, this time, the Extravagance didn't actually banish anything bad. White Princess is going to be activated here, going into Raiden to pitch 2, which is unfortunately going to hit a Mizuki that brings back the White Princess, which is going to dump a White Prince. White Prince is going to dump 2 Skull Servants into the graveyard, then Synchro Summoning into Red Eye's Zombie Necro Dragon, which is going to get blown up thanks to the effect of our Fortress. Unfortunately, I wasn't smart enough to just, activate Fortress here, but whatever. We bring back our boy, going into another Fortress yet again, just being able to punch face for a lot of damage, passing the turn back to Behold the Fallout, hoping he has an out for what's about to happen to him. He goes for a Lower Darkness. We flip up the Imperial Order that we set, which is probably the best card we could have gotten here, as he sets 1. At this point, we're just going to go in for the game, I think, so we're going to make Borreload Savage Dragon without a negate, because it's just really funny. And we're met with a Roma Jar, of course. We'll go into Nightmare Unicorn to spin that piece of crap back to the deck, hoping he doesn't have anything to now end the game here as we pay for Imperial Order. He goes for the Chaos Base just to pitch White Baking, which allows him to go into his combo, going for White Prince, dumping 2 cards to the graveyard, normal summoning a King of the Skull Servants, but we have the freaking Cylinder. I can't believe... I'm still, speechless when it comes to this, because we actually killed him with Cylinder with 8k to the face. Game number 2, he's going to go first in OTK Skull Servants, which is interesting, ending on a board of nothing but a 3k King of the Skull Servants. We're going to activate Dragon Shrine, pitching the Rocket Tracer here. Going into Striker Dragon, getting our Boot Sector launch, which is the best thing we can do. Activating the Boot Sector launch, activating our marvelous, marvelous Striker Dragon to get back the Rocket Tracer. Going for Rocket Tracer effect, popping the Absolrator Dragon in order to get into Silver Rocket Dragon. This draws us the Rocket Synchron, which unfortunately doesn't really do us much here. But we do go into a Borreload Savage Dragon with a negate ready. We punch over the King of the Skull Servants, which we have to negate, unfortunately, because if it comes back, it's just going to punch us in the face. Draw step comes around for Behold the Fallout, and he is Dark Ruler No Mooring and Harpy's Feather Dustring. Oh my god. Going into Unizombie, pitching White Baking. White Baking activated its effect, of course, in order to start the Skull Servant shenanigans all over again. White Princess is going to lower us by an absurd amount of damage as he gets almost full combo here. Going into Chaos Ruler, which is going to reveal 5 cards from the top of his deck, grabbing another White Princess, as well as grabbing himself a Black Dragon Collapse Serpent. He is going to proceed to battle, punching us, but of course we're under Dark Ruler no more, so we don't get eradicated this turn. We do draw decently for the turn, as we're able to put up a slight defense here, going for our normal summon of Kitchen Dragon Maid in order to tag it out. But it just isn't enough because I'm stupid. If I didn't choose to attack here, White Princess wouldn't have completely screwed me over, and I could have just overlaid for Dingirsu and hoped for the best. I apparently was not that intelligent, and therefore I paid the price. I get punched in the face for a lot of damage. Here comes Citadel. Citadel is going to blow up everything except the King of the Skull Servants here, because that is the one thing stopping us from winning the game. We take a hefty 5,000 as he brings back Chaos Dragon yet again. We draw a quick launch, which just isn't enough, but we'll go for it anyway. Normal summoning the Rocket, Mini Rocket, whatever it is, Rocket Tuner, Rocket Synchron. I never remember the name. We try to blow up as much as we can here, using all of our resources to actually clear the board using Unicorn and somehow the Double Barrel Dragon. Didn't expect that, but it won't end up mattering because he has Monster Reborn, bringing back the King of the Skull Servants, and that is game 2. Game number 3, we now have to pull no punches, and our starting hand is really, really bad. We're going to set to the Bottomless Trap Hole, going for our Fortress, setting the Dragon Shrine in hopes to fake out our opponent, which, as you can probably guess, is not going to work that great. Foolish Burial is going to be activated for White Baking. White Baking is going to do the same thing all over again, grabbing a Princess and a Prince, using Princess effect to dump a bunch of cards to the graveyard, activating Prince to special summon a King of the Skull Servants. We go for the banishment of it here, but it doesn't end up mattering because he has the one card that can bring it back from the banished zone. Oh, that's unfortunate. He goes in for the trade here, but he manages to bring it back using his Monster Reborn of all things. And then we draw another Bottomless, which is now one turn too late. We activate Citadel's effect, but it's hit with White Princess, meaning it can no longer activate its effect because there's no monster with less attack than it. We normal summon our Rocket Tracer, going into our Striker Dragon, getting Boot Sector launch to our hand, activating the Boot Sector launch after Striker Dragon, but we get hit with freaking Fiendish, whatever it is, Fiend or Foe, the thing that, if he calls the toss correctly, banishes our entire graveyard, and if we fail, it dumps a bunch of cards into his graveyard. It ends up screwing us over here because we now have no way of punching over that King of the Skull Servants, and Solemn Strike is just not going to do it. We set the Solemn Strike, now having one turn remaining, in hope of doing something. Any card that can blow it up will do. We draw our card, and that does nothing considering Lady in White protects them from card effects. However, that is a challenge completed, but we'll take the loss. Game number 3, match number 3, whatever we're gonna call it, is up against Mothwoman, who is yet again playing Fluffles. We have a good track record so far, so let's see if we can keep that going. However, our hand is the worst we've ever seen. Not a single card in this opening hand actually manages to accomplish anything, and Mothwoman is off to the races. Going for the Bahamut Shark, totally awesome play, going into a Kraken, which allows her to deal a massive ton of damage to us currently. Bear sets a Toy Vendor. Toy Vendor gets activated here as she pitches Fight for Repair, but unfortunately draws a 1-for-1. Going into battle, kind of ending the combo, but almost killing us entirely, we have one turn. The one turn draws us a Mirror Force, which, under Totally Awesome, is going to do absolutely freaking nothing. This was a very swift OTK, but she's going to try and overextend anyway, but it doesn't end up mattering because here comes another Toy Vendor. Toy Vendor is going to activate pitching a card, which is Necrofusion, but hey, it doesn't matter. We got nothing. We do flip up the Mirror Force for funny, immediately getting negated, and we scoop. Game number 2 is looking a little bit better here, so we can at least bring a Radiator out with Mirror Force set, activating our Kitchen Dragon Maid, going into Lorepar, pitching Lorepar, just so we have something for the battle phase. Mothwoman is going to draw the card, activating the scale of whatever it is, I can never remember, one of the Frightful scales, going into Toy Vendor, pitching the bear, getting a penguin, tagging out using the scale for a Fretchford Imp Scythe. Octopus is going to land up, bringing back the Dolphin to hand, going into the Nightmare Phoenix to blow up our back row. Unfortunate. Fright for Fusion is going to bring out Kraken. Kraken is going to send a Radiator to the graveyard, not activating Citadel, unfortunately. We tag out here for Lorepar, or not Lorepar, Tin Hank, in order to have anything on the board, which should be enough. We normal summon Kitchen yet again to actually get Lorepar into the graveyard this turn, going into battle phase to tag out for Lorepar, correctly this time, punching over all the monsters currently on the field, and then going into our Dingirsu, getting the scale off of the board. We then set our 1-card Impasse turn, hoping that that's enough to seal the deal. Harpy's Feather Duster comes out, which we protect using Dingirsu. Toy Vendor comes, but unfortunately draws an Artifact Scythe, forcing Mothwoman to set a card. At this point, we draw a quick launch, so we can pretty much just overextend for game here, at least that's what I'm hoping. We go for the Striker Dragon to bring in the Boat Sector launch, activating our Striker Dragon to get back our Tracer, but then I realized that protecting it with Ningirsu negates the effect because it needs to be destroyed, and I'm a stupid dum-dum. Fortunately for me, it is not punished this turn as we punch in for a massive chunk of damage, leaving Mothwoman on a single card to attempt to win the game with. Necrofusion here would do it, and a card is set, making me really worried at this point. We draw Imperial Order for turn, which is actually a really good card, but we go into battle, tagging out for Lorepar yet again, punching face, and it turns out it's not Necrofusion. Game number 3, and our starting hand is equally as bad here, but we go for the Machina redeployment, pitching the Phantasme, going for the Air Raider, then going for the Fortress using Citadel in hand, getting a Bottomless Trap Hole onto the board, which gets immediately Twin Twistered, forcing us to bring out both a new Fortress using Air Raider and a second Citadel. Toy Vendor is going to be activated. Activated Toy Vendor pitching the Fluffle Bear, getting the Necrofusion, unfortunately missing it once again, going for the Fluffle Penguin to bring out Dolphin. At this point, we have to blow up one of our cards in order to make sure there's nothing on the board. Luckily for us, that is just what we need to do as we normal summon our Gear Frame. Gear Frame is going to bring out Megaform, and you could probably guess where this is going. A swift OTK, and we'll take the win. Damn close this time, though, I must say. So for our final match of today, it just wouldn't be this serious if we constantly have to run into Mothman, wouldn't it? Mothman, or Ozley, or Ozalay, whichever you want to call him, is our rival so far, playing sealed-only zombies, which we currently have a 1-3 track record against. Our opening hand as well is not exactly making it look bright. We're able to end on 2 fortresses as well as a set Crackdown, which unfortunately is not going to end up doing anything as it gets Cosmic Cyclone. He is then off to the races completely, and considering he now has almost every combo piece in the deck he needs to do full combo, you can probably guess where this is going. Griffin is going to get summoned, which is going to set back the Foolish Burial, bringing out the Baladrock thanks to Glow Up Bulb, and then Zombie will get activated, bringing out the big boy Eldritch as well, going into the Vampire Sucker and passing his turn on that. We do draw into Rocket Tracer here, which is a very, very weird sort of predicament we're in, because I'm a stupid dum-dum. We tag out for the Rocket Rechargers, bringing our Megaform onto the board here, activating to bring back our big boy, going into Booster Dragon, going to Access Code, but I forget that there's a second effect on Griffin that prevents me from activating Access Code's effect, which just ends up ruining everything. We do manage to break the board, however, but a 2,300 access code talker is not exactly something that's going to stand the test of time. Zombie World from hand, Unizombie, and we all know where this is going. As I have no defenses, I know very well that he can OTK me from here, so I simply scoop them up and go game number 2. Game number 2 opens equally as horrible because there's not a lot we can do here. We go for our rocket plays as best we can, going for the boot sector launch here. Activating the boot sector launch, Striker Dragon the Absoluto Dragon away, which is going to let us get Rocket Tracer. Rocket Tracer is going to be very valuable here, as we can summon both it and Magna Rocket Dragon, bringing out another one, which I kind of regret doing now, but I digress. We do manage to get out a Borreload Savage with a negate on it this time, which is more than what we usually accomplish, but we're met with Call with the Mummy. It brings out Shiranui Solitaire. Solitaire gets tagged out for Unizombie. Unizombi's going to attempt to pitch a card from hand, which we decide to negate because he probably has one of the pieces. He then dumps Necro Banshee from deck, summoning Mizuki, which we decide to bottomless trap hold to prevent it from doing anything else. Fortunately, that's actually enough to just make him end his turn. Unfortunately, we don't really have a follow-up play to it. We go for the Machina Fortress here, of course, bringing Citadel to the graveyard, which does nothing in this matchup, punching for a very, very big chunk of damage, but, zombies. Call of the Mummy brings out a second Shiranui Solitaire of all things to bring out a second Unizombie, starting the combo all over again, and this time we don't have anything to stop him. Mizuki gets sent, normal summoning, accidentally pressing the battle phase button, but it doesn't matter because the zombie combos are coming. We attempt to activate Phantasma here, but it gets Ash Blossomed of all things, and at this point, you can probably guess that it's going to be over. Balladrock is going to be sent out, bringing out the Vampire Sucker during the standby phase. Of course, it's going to come back. Vampire Sucker is going to draw a card here. We go straight to the battle phase to beat over as much as we can, but Necrobolt Banshee gets activated, vanishing on one of our cards, punching that card in the face, setting our bottomless, and that's about all we can do. Balladrock attempts to come back, but we hit it with the bottomless, hoping that he doesn't have a follow-up play for this, and Balladrock is gone permanently, but, third Unizombie. What do you fucking know? We know already that this is going to be the end of the game, so we do a favor, and we simply scoop them up. You know, for being as good of an opening as that was, because that was absolutely insane, it sure didn't show on the scoreboard, did it? A very unfortunate turn of events as we go 1 and 3 during a week where our polls were absolutely insane, and I mean, I guess for every match except the one with Mothman, we actually did take a game off of our opponent if we didn't win, so I guess it's not all for naught. Regardless of that, though, we actually have quite a massive thing to go over here at the end of this episode, because A, we get 250 DP as our rewards for this week, as well as having completed the challenge, allowing us access to our first wildcard. We are going to go over these in just a bit, but we have a more important thing to cover. That's freaking right, we have officially hit level 2, which only took us 7 freaking episodes, but we finally made it there. We have been awarded with a massive amount of stuff for hitting this, well, milestone in terms of the virtual world, not only receiving a new weekly budget increase from 2,500 to 3,000, but having 3,000 bucks to spend in next week extra, 3 more star chips, and 2 different kinds of wildcards. So I suppose before we go any further, allow me to explain how wildcards actually function for this series. Wildcards come in 3 different levels and 3 different varieties. The levels are rare, super rare, and ultra rare. And then you have level 1, 2, and 3 as the alternative versions. The rarity is self-explanatory. Rare ones deal with rare cards, super rares deal with super rares, and ultra rares deal with ultra rares. You should be able to understand that. Level 1, 2, and 3, however, is where things get interesting, which is indicated by the amount of stars next to the, well, wildcard. Level 1 wildcards will allow us to take a random card of the appropriate rarity from a set that we've previously opened. Level 2 wildcards, on the other hand, will allow us to choose a specific card of the appropriate rarity to take from a set we've previously opened. And the elusive Level 3 wildcards will allow us to transform one card of the appropriate rarity we own into a playset of said card. Now, it's not all fun and games when it comes to these things. First of all, the rarity needs to be exact, meaning that for a set like Maximum Gold that has a gold rare and a premium gold rare, I believe they're called, neither of our wildcards are going to work because the rarities are not an exact match. This also applies to the level 3 wildcards, because we need to transform a card that has the exact rarity of the card we owned, even if we've opened a set where it's at a lower or higher rarity. It needs to be an exact match. Like any other consumable item in the virtual world, we are unfortunately locked to only using one of them per episode, unless we decide to drink ourselves a nice cup of brew, in which case we can use 2. Now, you may be talking to yourself saying, hey, wait, doesn't this kind of just break the idea of a sealed-only series? Well, to that I say yes and no. First of all, have you looked at the structure of this series whatsoever? I'm not in control over what decks I get. I'm not even in control over what packs I can purchase. That already is weirder than any other sealed-only series out there, and I think that deserves a like, doesn't it? This is my way of balancing it out to make sure that I have some control over what I'm doing. Also, I would like this series to end before we reach, like, episode 100, so, this is a good way of doing that. But without any further ado, let's add this week's collective collectings, I guess, to our bank account. And I'm going to thank you so much for watching this week's episode. If you enjoyed the content and you're excited to see what comes next, remember to click the subscribe button because it helps me immensely, because hey, I like that big number go brr. Leave a like and a comment too, why don't you? And as always, remember to stay safe out there.